now sees us go to two-lap racing, the first round of the women's 800 metres, 4 heats. The qualifying from each of them, the first 3 go through by right to tomorrow's semi-finals, with 4 non-automatic qualifying spots. This was the case in the men's event when there were 4 heats, and the 4th heat, funnily enough, was much the faster, and 7 men, all 4 non-automatic qualifying spots coming from the 4th heat, and it's something I have to say I think creates a degree of unfairness. Why not just say, if you need 16 in the semis, the first 4 in each of these heats. There is Alex Bell, great athlete, had a fabulous time at the Olympic Games back in 2021. This year, 1:59.55, Bell. Her most recent race was a 2nd place in 4-back, where she set that season's best. Liakova of Ukraine, this year 2:01, but she's a 1:58 athlete, albeit from a few years back. She's 32 now. Lena Candisuno of France, she's a 1:59 performer, but only 2:01 this year. Kochak of Turkey goes in 6th. She's a 2-minute athlete, only 18 years old. Good experience this for her. Ibarzabal of Spain out there in lane 5, and then Sana we saw of Poland. Bakraci of Kosovo goes in 3, and Laura Hoffmann of Switzerland going on the inside in 2. Good athlete Hoffmann, 1:58.5. She ran a few years ago now. Went out in the semi-finals of the World Indoors, the Swiss. But she's a finalist from the Europeans back in Munich 2 years ago, is Hoffmann. Plenty of experience. Bell, though, perhaps has the most experience of all of them. 7th in that Tokyo Olympic final 3 years ago. So, how will this go? There is something to be invested in, making sure this is at a healthy pace, this race. If you don't finish in the first 3 and you're 4th, you could go through. You could be 5th, 6th, 7th and go 3 if it's super fast, but the athletes that come out for the 4th heat will be armed with a lot more information about what they need to do to qualify than the athletes in the previous heats, and it's that discrepancy, that unfairness, that loads and advantages to athletes in the latter heats that I don't like. Anyway, Kochak leading at the moment for Turkey. She's never broken 2 minutes, so she's got to give this a go. The Spaniard Ibarzabal on the inside there, up alongside Candisuno of France. Alex Bell just easing along on the outside there, staying out of trouble in 4th place as they come through the bell, and it's been a good steady first lap there, 59.99. So, still leading the Turk Kochak as they go through 300 to go. Bell in the slipstream of the powerful Turk, by far the biggest athlete physically in the race. The Spaniard Ibarzabal looking for a bit of daylight down the inside, but not accelerating through that stage. Still there, Candisuno keeping Bell boxed on the inside. Remember, there's 3 to go through. That's the only guarantee, and this hasn't been particularly quick, although Kochak now, having given it her all for 600 metres, beginning to go back. Bell in 3rd place. Good running this from Ibarzabal of Spain down the inside, and the French athlete Candisuno looking very, very strong indeed as she eases away. Bell is struggling to get through. Can she get past the Spaniard? Yes, she can. Good running from Hoffmann to 2nd place. Bell goes through as well, and the pole leaving it a little bit late coming down the outside. Sarna finishes in 4th place, but just outside 2 minutes, that one. Not super quick. Hoffmann running a very, very smart race indeed. Bell doing just enough as well once she'd eased past the dying legs of Lorea Ibarzabal, who will have to wait and see if she goes through from this one.
Yeah, Laura Hoffmann, quite often one of those who, one way or another, finds a way of going through and finishing strongly towards the end of the race. She's a couple of tenths behind Candisuno in the end. And Bell does get that 3rd automatic spot to advance through to those semi-finals.
Well, I guess it's... Sorry, Alex, I was going to say, I guess it's in the semi-finals, the gloves come off. For the bigger names, these should be comfortable qualifying races. The pole there, leaving it much too late. They're normally really astute tacticians, the Poles, but Sana there, who hasn't broken 2 minutes this year, but is a 1:59 athlete, on the limit to left of picture, just not getting through in time as Candisuno celebrates quite rightly there. A useful win in that first heat. Kendisugno, Hoffman and Bell assured of a place in the semi-finals, but Sana and Abazabal, Liakova, and the... Back to the track. We know that the first heat wasn't particularly quick, Alex, so first three finish is essential.
So, let's see how they go then. Louise Shanahan for Ireland on the outside. She was 8th 2 years ago. The athlete studies for a PhD in physics at Cambridge University. Her father Ray, a former Irish champion, first Irish father and daughter combination to become national champions in the same event. Keely Hodgkinson, though, talked about young athletes coming in with already what seems like a lot of experience. Keely Hodgkinson, another with a golden bib, and of course winning the European indoor title at the age of 19 in 2021. Union Jacks there in the stands. Silva of Portugal, Patricia Silva, 2 minutes 07 at best. Bourgeois of France, Pello of Switzerland alongside, and Charlie Matthias of Luxembourg, and Eloisa Coro. Well, no one should really trouble Keely Hodgkinson in this particular heat, and it is just a heat. Hodgkinson some 4 seconds faster than the rest of the field, but as we know, times don't necessarily matter. It's all about getting through. Nonetheless, Coro is someone who has improved this year to 1:59.76. And she's one of those with a decent 400-metre personal best as well. Certainly for a two-lap runner, mainly the best of 52.92 over the one lap. Coro was 7th at the European Indoor Championships in Istanbul last year. Well, Keely Hodgkinson, just with that one race over 800 so far this year, that was at the pre-meet in Eugene on the Diamond League circuit, 1:55.78. Of course, just a few tenths of a second off her British record. And I don't know about you, Tim, but growing up, I never thought a British athlete would run 1:55 for 800 metres. She really has rewritten the script and shown just what a young athlete can be capable of. And I know our coach Trevor Painter said that sometimes we don't think young athletes are really capable of world-class, incredible performances, but she's been one who's done it time and time again.
No, absolutely. She's super consistent, Keely. I think she's probably getting a bit fed up with silver medals in major championships. She'll want to retain her gold here, but go to Paris and get a gold as well. I saw her in Eugene a couple of weeks back. She was fabulous running 1:55. Looked pretty easy, Alex, and she should qualify easily from this one, although 62.51 is super slow. I think we can be 100% sure only the first three will go through from this one.
Well, Keely also has a 400-metre personal best, 51.61 in Savona this year. She's got her eyes flicking towards the big screen, but mainly concentrated on the track ahead of her as well. She's been talking about the fact that it's a privilege, really, to be coming in to this season with big hopes of taking another European title and also maybe Olympic gold as well, to be one of the British athletes taught across all sports ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. But focusing on the job in hand here. Bourgeois having a very good race. Coro battling, buoyed on by the home crowd. Matthias trying to chase for Luxembourg as well, who did so well with Van der Weyken last night, getting into the women's 100 final, the first female track athlete from Luxembourg to ever do so in the history of this competition. As I said, times won't matter. 2:02.46. Easy in the end for Hodgkinson. Bourgeois doing what she needed to do, just behind Hodgkinson, trying to stick to her for as long as possible. And Matthias, the other automatic qualifier, so just pushing out Eloisa Coro of Italy, Tim.
Well, actually, Coro at the moment is the 4th fastest non-automatic qualifier by 1/100th of a second. What she's done is knock out the 7th placer in the first heat, Kochak, but I think that will probably change. 2 heats to come. That's a great run from Matthias of Luxembourg. He's never broken 2 minutes. Certainly doesn't here with that winning time of 2:02.46, but that doesn't matter. She gets that third spot, and look at the reaction from her. Do you know what? I'm loving a lot of these slow-mos we're getting in Super HD at these championships. It tells you so much about the athletes. I mean, you can read too much, of course, in slow-mos sometimes, but it is wonderful to see, and that's Keely Hodgkinson looking tremendously relaxed there, in total control of that one.
So Hodgkinson from Bourgeois and Matthias, Britain, France, Luxembourg, getting athletes.
Here is the camera. This is Nina Vukovic of Croatia. Best of 2:01, and she'll be hoping this is a slow tactical race that gives her a chance to get through. Gajanova of Slovakia, 1:58 her best, 1:59 this year. Gajanova, she's 5 times their national champion. Krol of Ukraine, twice 2 times European champion. It's 2016 and 2018 at 800 meters. Natalia Krol, only 2:02 in Budapest recently though. Martin of Spain goes in 5, Nielsen goes in 4. This is Bello, the Italian Bello, who is a European Team Championship silver medalist from a couple of years back. Has run 1:59 this year. That was in the Doha Diamond League, Bello. Martin of Spain hasn't broken 2 minutes this year. She's in 5. Nielsen there of Sweden, likewise, only a 2:02 athlete. Toplonica of Adriana Topnica of Poland in 3. And then the Finn on the inside, Matejna, who was on 1:59.5 this year, her lifetime best. But the eyes on the Italian here, Elena Bello. Member of the police, of course, one of the sponsoring agencies of the top elite athletes in Italy. First 3 go through by right. We know that Candesugno and Hoffman and Bell from the first heat have gone through, and of course Hodgkinson getting through fine from the second heat, along with Bourgoin of France again, and Charlie Matthias of Luxembourg, 3rd place in that second heat, who are going to be the 3 that are assured of a place in the final in this next one. Bello there cutting across very sharply, not even running the shortest line. I'm never quite sure when they break from lanes why these athletes don't run the tangent and head for the corner 90 meters away, but anyway, this doesn't look particularly quick. I don't think this will be some 60. Gajanova leading at the moment, the Slovakian, giving herself a reasonable chance of top 3, or at least she hopes a good enough time. And just Matejna of Finland at 1:59, I think, looking comfortable as they come towards the bell, and it is just a click outside 60 seconds. 60.07, reasonably quick. On the outside, Bello staying out of trouble. Smart running from the Italian. On the inside, the pole is Topolnica, I think it is, excuse me. Vukovic down the outside, back at about 5th. And at the moment, the Swede Nielsen towards the back and on the inside, and in a bit of trouble with 200 meters to run as she continues on her way very smartly here. Gajanova, the Slovakian, has run the shortest line throughout the race, led from gun to tape, kicks in hard there with 1:50 to go, and she's away, and she's very, very well separated from the rest. She needs to have a little look around here because she's 10 meters in the lead, running much harder than she needs to. Matejna coming through for 2nd place as Bello, the Italian, heads backwards dramatically, and that's a big win. And 60.07, the first lap for going over there. And that lap time displayed is the first lap time, not the second lap time, but the second lap, only marginally slower. And she ran much, much harder than she needed to there. She's won by well over a second. Matejna in 2nd, Nielsen celebrating with a personal best in 3rd place. Well done to her, that's a brilliant run. She's never broken 2:02 before, she does now, and she makes it through to the semis. Martin with 2:02.21. Just checking to see who the non-automatic qualifiers are now, with my computer whirring away, a little bit slow to update. But the hot seats, well, you can see Sana, Ibarzabal, Liakova and Martin. Those are the 4. 2:02.21. Martin with that 4th place just eases through to a possible place in the semis.
or fascinated by Guyana, because I remember in 2019 she ran 2 minutes flat, 0.58, and came into a lot of junior championships thinking, oh, she's going to be a big contender, one of the fastest. I remember against Jen Mariki, and just didn't produce anything like those kind of times, you know, no disrespect to her. And it was only until last year that she, after that, set a personal best that had been her first in 4 years, and went sub 2 minutes with 1:58.78 from last year in Switzerland, which remains her best. So finally delivering on that kind of talent. And we know that progression isn't always linear, and that can happen, but looks like she's really got it now.
Guyana just running much, much harder than she needed to down the home straight. A little bit of naivety there, perhaps, from the Slovakian, but she wins very comfortably.
Fourth and final heat of the women's 800 metres now. So once again, it'll be top 3 and then 4 time qualifiers. So Daniela Garcia of Spain won the European Under-23 title. One of the reasons for that was that Keely Hodgkinson elected to do the 400 metres. She did get a medal. It was a fantastic battle between her and Henrietta Jager and Yemi Mary John. Anita Horvath, another decent 400, 800 crossover athlete. 1:58.73 at best. Always a great experienced competitor in a competition like this. Erin Wallace, maybe with less experience, particularly over 800 metres. Someone like Georgia Bell, who's dabbled in triathlon over the years. But a brilliant personal best recently, 1:59.2 in Manchester, which is also a 10th inside the Olympic qualifying mark. We skip past Rosa Milia of Switzerland and Janet Richard, the Maltese record holder. And this is Anna Wielgosz, the Polish athlete. Go in lane 3, personal best 1:59.84. And Bianca Kerry, another who's gone sub 2 minutes in the past, 1:59.80, 2:02.31 this year. Don't forget, 2:02 is a sort of heat time that we've been seeing, and really positions the main thing here and now.
On your mark.
But if you're outside the top 3, then you do need to go sub 2 minutes. 1:59.88 at the moment, the position of Lerea Irasabal, who was 5th in heat number 1. So it's her, along with Natalia Kroll, 1:59.77, Eloisa Coiro and Elena Bello, the 2 Italians, potentially could be knocked out here. Let's see how this one goes, though. Anita Horvath leading them out for Slovenia. Daniela Garcia of Spain towards the back of this pack, the European Under-23 champion. Erin Wallace there on the inside. Well, another fella who, Scottish athlete, has got through very cleanly through a middle distance race. That was Neil Gorley, who won his men's 1500-metre heat earlier. Erin Wallace, another one of the training group, coached by Trevor Painter and Jeddy Meadows, as we see 60.39 at the bell. Wielgosz trying to push on this pace. And Garcia to the front.
These athletes have such a massive advantage. They know what's got to be done to get through to the final. You know, in the men's 800s, exactly this situation. All 4 non-automatic qualifiers came from the 4th heat.
Garcia very keen to make a move on this second lap, and they ought to, they need to, but are doing so in any case. Garcia from Kohlberg and Wielgosz. Erin Wallace has that 1500-metre strength and speed endurance. What about over the finale of this final lap here? Coming in off that quick time. Horvath really gritting her teeth in that 4th place. Is she going to come through on Wielgosz? Change of lead there. The German Kohlberg coming through, and Wielgosz and Horvath just misses out. 2 minutes, 0.23, so we will only have the top 3 going through from this final heat. It was too slow initially, even though Garcia came from the back to the front and did her best. Not quite enough in the end. Kohlberg doing what she needed. Vilgoš second, Garcia third, and they will all advance to the semi-finals.
Well, the Horvat does go through as a fourth placer from that fourth heat. Now, I was just checking the summary, Alex. Yeah, I thought it was quite reasonable times there. A lot of them crashing across the line there. Wallace goes through as well with 2:0.90, and Rosamilia, so 4, 5 and 6 going through from that fourth heat. And yet again, the athletes in the latter heats, and certainly the last heat of the four, at a distinct advantage, and that has got to be addressed. It's happened in the men's 800 fourth heat, and then in the women's fourth heat now.
Yeah, apologies, there were two marks on the screen next to result, and one of them's the actual result, and one of them is a different mark. So, yeah, apologies for looking at the wrong data there, but Kohlberg and Vilgoš coming through with Garcia, and in the end, we can see that the non-automatic qualifiers, Horvat is one of them, Wallace as well, Rosamilia and Angelica Sana from heat number 1.
Well, that concludes the middle distance action for the morning. Coming up next on the track, the men's 400-metre hurdles, then it'll be the women's 400-metre hurdles after that. The men's 400-metre hurdles actually due off in about 14 minutes' time at 12:40 here local time.
Rosamilia falling across the line quite dramatically there. In the end, her time was enough. She didn't even need to beat Erin Wallace on the line. Both of them going through.
Heavy for that for Rosamilia, finishing in down the field in that one. But yeah, getting through. You can't be too safe, can you? Might as well dive for the line.
Kohlberg, Vilgoš, Garcia, in the end, 6 athletes in total going through.
And there is a confirmation of the qualifiers for the semi-finals, the women's 800 metres. You can see Horvat going through very comfortably as non-automatic qualifier, Erin Wallace as well. And then Sarna making it through to the semis. The rest, I'm afraid, just missing out. The non-automatic qualifiers, 3 of the 4 coming from that final heat.
It's just first past the post as far as this is concerned. If we're looking, let's say, at the jumps, for instance, once again, the men, no surprise here if you were following the competitions. Miltiades Tentoglu with that world-leading 865 is leading that. So those are the men in pole position at the moment for getting the money. Yaroslava Mahuchik with that 2:01 high jump win. Well, she's ahead of Anna Pelotero-Compare. It's the Ukrainian who's looking as though she's on the way, but there's still other events to come. On the way to banking that 50,000 euros. And the winner of the long jump to overtake Mahuchik, as we were looking at the long jumpers, needs to jump 7:06.
Yeah, those 5 event groups: sprints, middle and long distance, throws, jumps, road, combined events and relays in their category as well. And as Phil explained, 50,000 euros up for grabs.
I think it all made sense, didn't it?
The athletes will like the 50,000 euros up for grabs.
That makes sense.
It is, exactly. Look, the highest scoring performance using the World Athletics scoring table gets themselves one of the 10 gold crowns available. And these athletes here, guys, are trying to get themselves a place in the 800-metre final. A couple of semi-finals on the track now over the 800-metre distance.
Yes, this is the first one. Good morning, everybody. This is Tim Hutchings, just jumping in a little bit late, listening to the guys go through the early events. But for me, this is one of the highlight events of the championships. The women's 800, the men's 800 metres. A beautiful distance where you've got speed and tactics, and racing now is required. There is the outstanding favourite, the defending champion, Keely Hodgkinson, goes in lane 6. Looked very easy in her semi-final to cruise through with a 1:59 clocking. And she is in very, very good form. She's the world #1 at the moment, 1:55.7 this year, and just outside the time she ran for the silver medal a couple of years ago in Eugene, or last year in the Diamond League final, excuse me, when she set her personal best. So 8 athletes here. Vilgoš of Poland goes in lane 2. She's the bronze medalist from 2 years ago. Nielsen of Sweden in 3. Bourgoin of France in 4. And now we're going to get to see them in sequence after some rather random pictures of 2 or 3 of them. Valentina Rosamilia, silver medalist in the World Under-20s back in 2021. She's 21 years old now. Has never broken 2 minutes, though, the Swiss. She goes on the outside in lane 9. Well, I thought we were going to go through them in sequence. Bourgoin, you can see in the back. Oh, there she is. Valentina Rosamilia in lane 9. And they're qualifying from these 2 semi-finals. I'm not quite sure why. First 3 in each heat, and the next 2 fastest losers. Why on earth it's not just the first 4 home, I do not know. Mighty Kohlberg goes in lane 8. The 24-year-old broke 2 minutes in 2021. Hasn't done it yet this year. Close to 2 minutes several times, though, the German in 8. There is Gajanova, Gabriela Gajanova, 5 times the Slovakian champion. Only 8th in Oslo 10 or 12 days ago. That wasn't exactly a confidence booster, but she's made it through to this final. Everything to run for, and her personal best is 1:58. There is Hodgkinson, Tokyo Olympic silver medalist, twice silver medalist in the World Championships in 2022 and 2023. I think she's a bit fed up with silver medals at global level, although she is the defending European champion, and she is obviously looking for gold in Paris. Erin Wallace, her teammate, European under-23 bronze medalist at 1500 metres back in 2021. She's 24 years old now, 1:59 back on the 25th of May, just a couple of weeks ago. Her lifetime best. She's in good form, the Briton. Anne Bourgoin, never under 2 minutes, the French athlete who goes in lane 4. Got to be nervous here, needs a big run. Remember, it's the first 3 guaranteed a spot in the final. Wilma Nilsson of Sweden goes in lane 3. Only 8th in 2:03 in Stockholm 8 days ago. Again, not a big confidence boost in front of her home crowd. And on the inside, Anna Vilgosh, the European Championship bronze medalist 2 years ago. And she's consistent too. She was 5th back in 2018, but hasn't broken 2 minutes this year. Hodgkinson, well, she's the quickest in Europe this year by almost 2 seconds. The next quickest is Gemma Ricci, her compatriot, who ran the 1500-metre final. Couldn't get amongst the medals. Well, away they go. Nice and steady and rather glorious conditions. The temperature climbing here in the Olympic Stadium. Pretty quick away as Vilgosh on the inside in the red and white to the right of picture there for Poland. And now Hodgkinson just easing across with Wallace, her teammate, following her every move at the moment. Kohlberg, the German, in the yellow, second to left, staying wide and looking very comfortable indeed. 23:73, that is quick. It didn't look that quick, but Hodgkinson clearly wanting to just control things here. Should be a formality, barring disaster for Hodgkinson, as Vilgosh on the inside from Poland, who looks keen to lead, has had to relinquish lead place. But this is a very crisp first lap as they come towards the bell.
Well, Hodgkinson doing everything right at this stage, and Vilgosh as well, the 2 medalists from Munich 2022, controlling this race. We didn't see the 400-metre time come up there. 57.6, so it's quick for a semi-final at the European Athletics Championships. And Kelly Hodgkinson just looking up at the screen at the far end. She knows what's happening behind her, and she's well in control.
She is indeed. Just over 200 metres to run. The French athlete Bourgoin on her shoulder. The pole on the inside has run the shortest line throughout. Vilgosh coming around the outside is the German Kohlberg. Erin Wallace has got some work to do at the moment. She's back in 6th place. Hodgkinson leads into the straight. She's leading them a merry dance here. Remember, it's the first 3. Vilgosh of Poland back in 4th at the moment. Got a lot of work to do. Erin Wallace of Britain's going to be run out of it, unfortunately, 3rd from left. But Hodgkinson easing away here, looking very comfortable indeed. It was a quick first lap, a pretty solid second lap too, and she crosses the line at a canter in 1:58.08, which I can assure you is not a world record, as came up there bottom right of your screen. But that's a very comfortable, business-like performance from Keely Hodgkinson. Good, strong run out. She, in her heats yesterday, ran 2:02. And then 1:58 today is building nicely. Bourgoin, massive personal best for second place there. She has never broken 2 minutes before. She's just run 1:58.6. Kohlberg, likewise, the German, her best time was 1:59.24 from 3 years ago. She's just locked almost half a second off that Kohlberg for that third place. And Vielgosch, a personal best for her too, in fourth place. Well, the pacemaking was just about perfect by Hodgkinson, 57.6 at 400, Phil, and they've all benefited from that.
Indeed they have, I mean, but Hodgkinson, that was a perfect race for her. She could actually dictate the tactics from the front. I mean, she can run inside 2 minutes almost in her sleep. That's, of course, a huge exaggeration, but a 1:58 run for Hodgkinson these days is very routine. Behind her, though, as we can see the run-in, the rest of the women having to strain, having to work really hard, but are rewarded. Places second, third and fourth, getting personal best, and in some cases smashing bests which have existed for a number of years. But Keely Hodgkinson, well, we've still got the second semi-final to come, does look very much the part on her way to the defence of her title in that final coming up tomorrow evening.
Yes.
Kohlberg again, a big personal best for her.
Well, the times are remarkable. Second, third and fourth places, big personal best. Erin Wallace, 1:59.89. She's given a good account of herself. She's never broken 1:59, so to get within, well, 3/4 of a second or so of her lifetime best in that semi-final is great experience for Wallace, the who lives in Glasgow, attends Glasgow University, former triathlete. And there it is, the three automatic qualifiers. Now, I'll tell you what, Vielgosch has a pretty good chance of going through with that fourth place time, a personal best 1:59.07. But for Hodgkinson, Bourgoin and Kohlberg, now they know the task for them, the 800 metres final for women tomorrow.
And the Luxembourg record holder, Charlene Matthias. Well, Matthias, the other woman like Garcia, who hasn't broken 2 minutes. Her personal best of 2:00.35 going back to 2018. So, the full lineup from the inside. Angelika Sana of Poland, Charlene Matthias of Luxembourg, Daniela Garcia of Spain, Alexandra Bell, Great Britain, Northern Ireland, Laura Hoffman of Switzerland, Lena Kandusianen of France, who was a very good heat winner yesterday, Slovenian 400-metre runner, well, I should say record holder, Anita Horvath. As we're looking at the women in the hot seat, I think we'd like to look at, yes, thank you, we'd like to look at the women who are actually racing at the moment. You can see there Anita Horvath, 1:58.73, but she's actually the Slovenian record holder in the 400 metres. On the outside of Evelina Martinen as we scan towards the inside. Sana, third in the European Team Championships in 2021. 26 years of age. So you're pretty consistent around the 2 minutes 2:01 in all of her outings this year. That's the Finn on the outside, Martinen. Martinen on the outside. She's won titles both over 800 metres and 400 metres hurdles in Finland. Big smile from the Finn. As I said, set her personal best recently of 1:59.59 at the Stockholm Diamond League meeting. Anita Horvath, 1:58.73 performer at best. She's converted from the 400 metres about 3 years ago. Impressive heat winner, Kandusianen. Enjoying her time in Rome. Laura Hoffman came home just behind Kandusianen in her heat. European Championships finalist as well 2 years ago in Munich. Alexandra Bell, well, she was an Olympic Games finalist and has twice been a Commonwealth Games finalist, wearing the vest of England. now 31 years of age. She went under 2 minutes in 4-back 2 weeks ago. Daniela Garcia, European under-23 champion last year in Finland in Espoo. Charlene Messias, Luxembourg athlete, Luxembourg record holder over 2 laps of the track. 11 times national champion over various distances from 400 meters and 1500 meters. And then on the inside, mentioned earlier, Angelica Sana. Well, the compatriot Vilgosh is in one of those hot seats at the moment. So let's settle down. Sana, Poland, Matthias, Luxembourg, Garcia, Spain, Bell, Great Britain, Hoffman, Switzerland, Kandisunen of France, Horvat, Slovenia, and Matanen of Finland. Those are the 8 women contesting this second semi-final. So as the stagger unwinds, it's Kandisunen perhaps feeling confident after a very good heat win. Horvat taking the lead as well. Horvat we've seen so often on the international circuit. Very much a front runner, using her 400-meter speed early in this race. Horvat making the pace as well. Well, they know what they've got to do. They've got to go well under 2 minutes if they're going to get through as fastest non-automatic qualifiers. Just 3 to go through as of right.
Yeah, this one's a lot slower than the first race. Remember, Keely Hodgkinson went through in 57 point, and there you've gone through, well, I reckon it was about 59.5, 60. It's not slow, but it's not super quick either. Right towards the back in the red of Switzerland is Hoffman. She was 4th in 2022. She's got some work to do from their performance a couple of years ago if she wants to make that final, Phil.
Yes, and at the moment it's Martinen getting to the fore. Well, Martinen obviously in good shape at the moment with that personal best just over a week ago. On her shoulder, Kandisunen, the Frenchwoman who had such a good heat win, and it's those two at the moment wearing those dark blue vests of Finland and France who are in the qualifying positions, and it's a battle at the moment behind them. Sana in 3rd place, Bell on Sana's shoulder now as they're coming into the home straight. Bell has got a lot of work to do, so too Laura as well, as Kandisunen starts to move away. It's a very nice win at this stage with 40 meters to go for the Frenchwoman. And France can take 1st place. Sana in 2nd. Hoffman makes her 2nd consecutive European 800 meters final, and we'll give you confirmation of the fastest non-automatic qualifiers, but it looks as though it's going to be Kohlberg and Vilgosh that go through from the first heat, because that's a much slower semi-final. There you see confirmation. Kandisunen 2 minutes and 11 hundredths, followed home by Sana and Hoffman in that slower semi-final. Alexandra Bell of Great Britain run out of it. She got badly boxed coming into the home straight, and there was no way out for her.
Well, she looked a little bit shorter pace, I have to say, Alex Bell there. For an athlete who has run 1:57, she really wasn't in top form down the home straight there. She should have been comfortable with that sort of pace, Phil. But you know what? I've been saying that, you know, they should be straight 4 from each race. No fastest losers, no non-automatic qualifiers. And that's still a prize, because it's the good fortune of the athletes in the first race that Keely Hodgkinson acted as an unofficial pacemaker. She dragged them all to quick times, so 5 of them have gone through. And that's kind of unfair. If there's good seeding, just say first 4 from the first semi, first 4 from the second semi. I think that's eminently fairer.
And as you were saying, it did look as though it was a little unbalanced, the seeding in this semi-final.
Yeah, I agree with Tim. Alex Bell's going to be disappointed in that one. But a little update on Gletti in the decathlon. We're hearing that he's going to have a rerun of his 110-meter hurdles in lane 9 at 10:30. And Gletti was due to line up in Group A of the men's discus decathlon at 10:30. So I'm assuming, Alex, if they're having a rerun for the Frenchman after the hurdle issue, he'll be put into Group B. We'll confirm that.
Let's just get the results of that second semi-final to you. Candy Sunan confirmed the winner, 2 minutes and 11 hundredths of a second, followed home by Sana and Bell. And there we have Hodgkinson leading the way with that 1:58.07 sparkling semi-final, first semi-final win, followed home by Burgoyne, Kohlberg and Vigosh, and Gashnova getting through from that first semi-final. In addition to Broders, we've also lost Baptiste Thier, I should say David Holly. Baptiste Thierry just getting over at the third time of asking.
So on the track, it's time for the women's 800-metre final. I've waited patiently, having qualified a couple of days ago, until the final evening session here in Rome. Athletes will be lining up from lanes 2 to 9. Ina Candice Onan of France jogging out quickly. She'll start in lane number 2, just over 2 minutes to qualify for this final. Angelika Sana of Poland will start in lane number 3. Season's best of 2 minutes 37. European Team Championship bronze medalist. Gabriela Gunjakova from Slovakia will go in lane number 4. Under 2 minutes this season. In fact, 5 women went sub 2 minutes in the semi-finals to make this final here this evening. Lorraine Hoffmann of Switzerland, European Championship finalist a couple of years ago when these games were held in Munich. Anna is Bourgoin of France, qualified second fastest in 1:58.65 for this final, and will start in lane number 6. Inside the defending champion, inside the 2-time world silver medalist Keely Hodgkinson of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the world leader with 1:55.78. Going for back-to-back wins and trying to get the 4th British victory ever at these European Championships in this event. Machtei Kohlberg of Germany, the 3rd fastest qualifier. Can the German get their first medal in this event since 1990? She'll start in lane number 8. And Anna Wilgosz of Poland took the bronze medal in Munich a couple of years ago. Ran a personal best in the semi-final of 1:59.07 to get into the European final this evening. So there is Keely Hodgkinson, opened her season over 800 metres in Eugene just a couple of weeks ago with a 1:55.78 clocking. Just 0.6 of a second shy of her British record, Tim. And surely Keely Hodgkinson is one of the biggest favourites at this European Championships as she lines up in lane number 7 to try and defend her title.
Absolutely, Kath, yes. Keely out in lane 7 should be outstanding favourite here. She is the outstanding favourite. She's defending champion. I wonder if the 2 French, Candusinon or Bourgoin, will run as a pairing, or if the 2 Poles, Wilgosz or Sana, will run as a pairing. Frankly, when she's fit and healthy and everything's okay, Keely Hodgkinson is head and shoulders above the rest. But she feels nerves like everybody else. There's no doubt about that. She just needs to get this right, as she's done many times already this season.
The final of the women's 800 metres. Keely Hodgkinson moving nicely into potentially a leading position as they go down the back straight for the first time. And happy, Tim, to slot herself into the lead in this final and make herself a target as they hit the 200-metre point.
Absolutely, Kath. She's head and shoulders above the rest of this field under normal circumstances. This is not normal. This is championship racing. No pacemakers here. But she looked fabulous in her qualifying heat a couple of days ago, and she looks comfortable enough here. Wilgosz, though, always a danger. The Poles are always very, very astute racers. 1:59.07, a personal best in her semi-final.
So they're strung out in this women's 800-metre final, coming up to the halfway point. Hodgkinson leading the way. Wilgosz of Poland on the shoulder of the British athlete, 58.51 at the 400-metre point.
Yeah, that's nice and steady for Keely Hodgkinson. She should be able to push on from this, indeed, almost run negative splits. Under normal circumstances, Hodgkinson, we know she's in great shape. Recently ran a personal best for 400 metres. She has the speed, she has everything in her armoury to defeat this field.
But they're queuing up behind Hodgkinson. France and Poland on the shoulder of the British athlete. There's still about 6 athletes in this with 200 metres to go. But Keely Hodgkinson is trying to stretch away from the field, trying to stretch away from Bourgoin of France on the inside line. The flowing blonde hair of Keely Hodgkinson. She looks up at the scoreboard right in front of her here on the screen. And now she eases away. Hodgkinson pushing for another British gold, pushing to defend a title, but she's going to have to run through the line here. And she does. Woo, 158.66. She looks up to the sky. Gajanova on the inside line, Tim. Wow. The Slovakian athlete was pushing and closing on Keely Hodgkinson, but 158.65. Back-to-back titles for Keely Hodgkinson, a 158.79 for Gabriela Gajanova of Slovakia picking up the silver, and Bourgoin of France the bronze.
Wow, that was tight, wasn't it? Keely making hard work of that, and I think it's only fair that we tell you now that we have heard a rumour that Keely has been ill, less than 100%, and that, therefore, a doubly satisfying win for the Brit. Flat out there to hang on to that win in 158.6.